네, 저는 오늘 사회를 맡은 아나운서 이슬기입니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. 오늘의 토크 콘서트 주인공을 바로 소개하도록 하겠습니다. 카이스트 교수님이자 한국 음식 먹방 크리에이터 오스틴 기븐스 교수님이신데요. 교수님이 출연하신 TV 프로그램 어서와 한국은 처음이지를 보신 분들은 아시겠지만 한국 음식에 대한 사랑이 정말 대단하십니다. 교수님은 목포, 통영, 부산, 제주, 문경, 순천, 남해 등 전국 각지를 방문하면서 한국인이 하는 범인의 한식은 물론이고요. 우리가 경험해보지 못했던 음식들을 접해보셨다라고 합니다.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Austin Givens, and I am an American who loves food. I believe that food has the power to transform acquaintances into friends and friends into family. And today, I hope that by sharing my experiences as a food lover in South Korea, we can better understand how food ties us together. So, my hometown in South Korea is Daejeon, where I've been living for 8 years now. I work as an editor and proofreader, as well as an English scientific language professor at Kaist University. Now, many of you may be wondering, why is a Kaist professor here talking about Korean food? And to be honest, I can't believe I'm here either. It's really an honor to be here. But the reason that I think I was invited here today was because of a project I started 5 years ago. So this is my YouTube channel called Eating What Is Given, and in Korean, 주는대로 먹는다. I use my channel as a platform where I share my learning experiences in Korea. And I want to emphasize this point. I am learning. I am a student. In my opinion, becoming an expert is a little bit of a dangerous thing. So I want to live where I'm always finding myself where I can learn more and more. So I just want to start by sharing my background and briefly explain why Korean food, why a Korean food YouTube channel. I grew up in Indiana in a very small town of only 4,000 people. And in this picture is what I consider my second home. This is my family's butcher shop in Indiana. It opened in 1953, and I grew up here helping my grandpa and my uncle make homemade sausages. So this is a picture of me and my uncle making bratwurst. It's one of my favorite activities in my life. But these experiences left a huge impression on me. From a very early age, I realized that food is what ties a community together, and it ties a people together. I also worked formally in the food industry for 1 year at Murray's Cheese in New York City, just before moving to Korea. It was a short time, but this more formal training led me to see food in a very serious way. So eating and tasting cheese, as you know, cheese has very deep and rich history. And it really sparked this passion for me to learn more and more about how food has a history with community as well. And honestly, some of the more stinky cheeses helped prepare me for trying things like hongo later on in Korea. So we arrived in Daejeon, South Korea, the travel hub of South Korea, also famously known as the Nojemshi, no fun city. But surely we could find great food in Daejeon, right? So we did what any food-loving foreigner would do. We went to Google and we typed best food in Daejeon. But maybe some people have been to Daejeon. What do you think is the #1 search result? Best food in Daejeon. Okay, I actually pulled this image from a search last week. You can see, #1 is Outback Steakhouse. #2 is Uzbeki food. Now, there's nothing wrong with this food, but where is the Korean food? Something is wrong here. Actually, our first day in Daejeon, our Korean coworkers took us to McDonald's because they thought that is the food we wanted to eat. So actually, my wife and I were really sad. We thought, this is our city. This is the food we would have to eat while we live here. So now that you know a little bit about me and my obsession with Korean food, I hope that through my speech today, I can show you three things. First, I've come to understand Korean food as a national cuisine full of regional specialties and tastes. And I hope that more and more people across the world will begin to see Korean food not just as a singular type, but as a rich and diverse regional food. Most people, when they think of Korean food, they don't think of the difference between Jeju-do, Jeollado, Gyeongsang-do, Gyeonggi-do, Gangwon-do food. And this is something that I really hope will change in the future. And second, I hope to be an example of someone who does not claim this culture as my own, but as somebody who appreciates Korean food culture. I hope that through my talk today, you can see that all Korean food, all regional styles, and even unfamiliar tastes to outsiders can truly be appreciated and inspiring to open-minded people. And third, I hope to show you that good food shared between open-minded people can be a bridge that connects cultures. It can celebrate differences while simultaneously showing us that we're not different. So first, I want to focus a bit on how I've come to understand Korean food as a regional cuisine. When you ask most people about Korean food, of course they're going to mention kimchi and bibimbap and barbecue. In my opinion, Korea has done well in spreading the most essential staples across the globe, and almost everyone knows these things. But what's the next step? What do we teach next? So after traveling all over the country and visiting many matjip in every region of South Korea, I can tell you that my most exciting discoveries are when I find something regional and specific to a community. So this is a map of all the matjip that we filmed a video for our YouTube channel. We're doing our best to explore Korea as a national cuisine. I sincerely hope that people will start visiting Korea and come here to taste not only the banchan dishes in Jeollangnam-do, but the amazing spices and herbs you can get in Gyeongsangnam-do. But in my experience, there is a huge crisis because a lot of these traditions are dying, and even many Korean people don't know about the regional taste. Many people rarely leave Seoul to discover the taste that's just 2 hours away. First of all, I want to know, does anybody know what this is? Do you know what kind of sundae? It's a little more special than just pisundae. This is actually Jeju traditional sundae. Does anybody here know what makes traditional Jeju sundae special? Traditional Jeju sundae uses memilgaru instead of chapsat. You know, Jeju can't grow much rice because of the volcanic soil there. But they grow lots and lots of memil, or buckwheat. But sadly, when I look for this food, there's only 2 or 3 restaurants left that still serve traditional Jeju sundae. All right, let's try one more. I think more people will know this. Does anybody know what banga is? Banga is this amazing Korean mint. It's hard to describe. It's like fennel mixed with peppermint. It's really amazing. But surprisingly, mostly only people from Gyeongsangnam-do know about this spice and this herb. So I'm going to share a clip. I found an amazing restaurant that's over 100 years old that uses banga ip in their dwaechigukbap in Miryang. 수저는 여기 있을 때 혹시 banga ip 있어요? banga 좋아요. 너무 좋아요. 냄새 좋아요.
야, 외국 사람이잖아.
파밀리하게 처음 먹어가지고. 뭐라도 파밀리 먹어가지고 처음 먹어.
Wow. It's just another dimension. Miryang is a beautiful, historic city in Gyeongsangnam-do. Today, I'm on a mission to explore the city's most famous dish, dwaechigukbap. Pork soup is well known in this area, but I heard about a very special place hiding in Miryang's traditional market that has a very specific secret menu. Since 1950, or even longer according to the owners, Dangoljip has been serving hearty bowls of stew in a tiny marketplace store. The thick pork soup itself is enough to travel to this legendary masjid. But from what I hear, the soup here is famous for something else, an herb called banga. I love banga. In fact, I'm growing several banga plants on my oktabang as we speak. A bright, peppery Korean mint rarely used outside of this region. But here's the thing. Only patrons that know this secret dish can ask for it. What comes to the table is a beautiful bowl of soup. But to transform this into a unique, one-of-a-kind experience, you must kindly ask for fresh banga leaves to be included.
So I asked the sajangnim here why they don't include banga ip when you order the soup. And she said that even Korean patrons never asked for it, or they didn't like the taste. They were confused about what came to the table. So I'm a little worried that in 1 or 2 generations, you'll never get to taste this food again. As you can see, some people are so happy to see this ingredient they love showcased on my YouTube channel. So one of my subscribers who lives in Southern California said her mom grows banga, and she's from Gyeongsangnam-do. So she says, I love banga. And I love this comment. And then I see some comments like the one below, which is from a 50-year-old Korean who heard about banga the first time from my video. It's amazing how people are so excited to share their passion with outsiders and foreigners all over Korea. I want to show you a clip of what I would say the most extreme sonmat restaurant that we found.
여기가 코리아 충청도 음식이에요.
충청도 음식. 밥상. Wow. Oh, what is that kimchi?
3년 된 김치.
3년, so 3-year aged baked kimchi. What is this? I've never seen this. 이거 뭐예요?
오디.
오디?
아까
Wow.
오디라고 했지.
I think it looks like 볶음자 kind of.
참외.
참외? Okay.
돌미나리.
도리, 미나리. Wow. 미나리.
민들레.
Oh my god.
사진 예쁘게 찍어봐요.
Yeah. Oh my god, this looks amazing. I've never seen that, Courtney. It's like unripe bokbunja. I think that's what it is. Oh, the crab looks awesome.
밥.
Oh my. Very good. Wow, 맛있겠다. 진짜 맛있겠다.
우리가 다 됐어.
Smells so good. Ah, wow.
네.
좋아요. Looks good. Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Perfect bite.
민들레 넣고 한련된 장아찌 넣고
한연대
오가피 넣고 매실.
매실. Oh, wow, that's 매실. Oh, it's like spicy.
So many things.
I know.
For one bite. What's this?
I don't know. 이거 뭐예요?
우렁.
우렁. Okay, I don't know 우렁. What?
이건 참외.
참외.
네,
Okay.
과일 참외. 그래서 밥을 이렇게.
Wow. Courtney, it's all you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go.
Can you do it in one bite? Don't do it in one bite. Wow. She starts to make a bite of food for my wife. I missed it, but first she picked up the K-nip with her bare hands. So I love this clip because it really shows how food can really bridge the gap between cultures when there's passion involved. So diving deeper into Korean food has only strengthened my relationship with others. It's helped me understand how food acts as a gateway to understand people. It's through Korean food that I've found teachers, brothers and sisters, and new friends. Most importantly, Sharif taught me that it's not just me who's really interested in learning about Korean food. There are many, many foreigners who want to visit Korea and try these real tastes and get a real taste of regional Korean food. So I want to conclude with a short demonstration of how Korean food has connected me with people here in a very strong way.
꼭 낚시꾼 같다. 야, 살아있는 겁니다, 여러분. 거의 5자 되겠는데?
내가 하고 나면 다 튀어서. 가만히 있어.
This is awesome. My new friend and famous YouTube eater, Jobsaw, asked me if I wanted to come to his family's country home in Jeollanam-do farmland to eat coal-roasted quail. I never expected the insane food course that he prepared for my 2-day visit. In the next few episodes, I hope to show you the amazing kindness of Jobsaw's family as they treat me to some of the most amazing food I've ever experienced in my life. Please subscribe to learn more about amazing Korean food experiences. Thank you and enjoy the video. Jobsaw 형님's house, and we are going to have some raw fish, some delicious food. 장막했습니다.
앤 게장.
게장. 오, 좋아요.
게장. 여러분들 오늘 우리 오스트한테 저희 시골집 집밥, 저희 어머니 집밥을 한번 좀 먹이려고 데려왔습니다.
I feel so lucky.
된장, 집된장 많이 받았어요.
Really?
네.
Wow, nice, nice. Everything
Yes,
here.
네.
Everything here is 집밥.
예, 집밥
Yeah,
전부 다 만든 거. 그리고
Wow. So fresh. 와, 좋아요. 정말 맛있어요. 너무 맛있어요.
많이 드세요.
네, 고맙습니다. Wow.
delicious.
So delicious. Yeah. 형님, I'm going to cry. I'm so happy. This is amazing. Yeah. I never expected this. This is.
So in this clip, I was invited by a fellow YouTuber to his house in Mokpo, where his family made a huge jippap meal for me. Even though we can't speak together well, we became friends. For me, in this moment, we really had a strong bond together. So in return, I decided to share my family's recipes with him. He says, now when I have beef heart, I will always want to enjoy both styles. So in some way, he'll always remember a part of my grandmother's cooking. And this is the power that food gives us. And this power only increases when all flavors and tastes are accounted for. If Korea loses its regional taste, then this power will shrink. So I sincerely hope, as an outsider living here, that this doesn't happen. I hope that future visitors can make the same discoveries that I have that made me fall in love with Korean food. I hope that by sharing these experiences with you, you gained a deeper understanding of how Korean food can touch outsiders and visitors here. And there's still a lot for me to learn, but thank you so much for listening, and I'm happy to take any questions you have.
Which region of Korea do you want to explore more of, and why?
That's a really tough question. I still haven't visited Pohang, and I know there's a lot of really amazing matjip in that area. I recently went to Ujin, which really surprised me. The food was really great there. As far as region, I would say Gyeongsangnam-do is always surprising to me. Dongyong and Miryang. I want to dive deeper into the flavors there.
If you could pick 3 most interesting foods. I know you cannot pick just one, that's what I said, 3, to recommend to foreigners when they come to Korea for the first time.
Wow, even 3 is hard. Obviously, with my background in the butcher shop, 고깃집. You must visit some good samgyeopsal, moksal. Also, in Seoul, there's a really great gamegisal alleyway near Jongro that I would recommend, number 1. Number 2, something very different for your taste. So maybe naengmyeon. Naengmyeon is something challenging, but not too challenging. Number 3, find a Korean friend or reach out to a Korean mishika or foodie on Instagram and ask them what their favorite food is. And then eat that, whatever it is. And one more, go to Majangdong and get han우 at the Majang Juksu Sijang, I think that's right.
네, 그 영상에서 염통구이를 미국식이랑 한국식으로 이렇게 만들어서 비교해 보셨는데 혹시 다른 재료로도 비교하고 싶은 게 있으신지 궁금합니다.
Of course, barbecue, gokkijip. We have American style barbecue is totally different. You cook it slow and long using smoke. And then Korean style is hot and fast with sutbul or yontan. Yeah.
외국인으로서 한국의 맛집을 좀 찾기 힘들었을 텐데 어떤 루트를 이용해서 맛집을 찾아내는
The first, it is very difficult, more than other countries, because as I showed you the Google problem, Outback Steakhouse, I started to learn more of the language and meeting people like Omi and other Mishika, other people who love food. These days I like searching for things like nopo matjip. Nopo matjip means that the restaurant's been open for 1 generation or more. Most importantly is from local friends. Working at Kaist has a huge advantage because people come from all over Korea to Kaist.
네, 오늘 긴 시간 동안 한식문화공간 이음에 함께해 주신 여러분께 다시 한번 깊은 감사의 말씀 드리고요. 한식과 문화의 만남 한식콘서트는 매월 다른 주제로 여러분들과 함께하고 있습니다.